It's the... What date are we on? We are on the... Saturday the 2nd. That's a funny story for you. I didn't even know it was March. That's embarrassing. So, we are back on Formula 1 here. I did a video of this on the other week discussing the upcoming season with my good friend Jamie. But today, we are going to be talking about testing. We're going to be talking about testing as a whole, who I think will do well in the season after testing. I mean, I know, straight away guys, I know it's just testing, and testing means nothing. But, I'm going to go with Hulkenberg here. I know testing really means nothing, but, yeah, I'm going to give my thoughts on who looks good over the testing. Oh boy, I don't know what track to go for. Let's go for Germany. I like Germany. So we'll start off by discussing the first week. Obviously, it was a bit of a... The first week was a bit of a... what's the word? It was a bit of a dud for Williams as far as they're concerned, because it's like with them only getting 2 days in the first week, it wasn't that good for them. They looked sloppy, they looked slow, but they bounced back and they actually looked okay by the end of the test. They didn't look great, they still looked a bit... I still think they'll be the slowest team on the grid, in my own personal opinion. I mean, I'm sorry if you're a Williams fan, but yeah, I think so. We're just going to go down all the teams and discuss how well I think they're going to do in the season, judging it on testing. So we'll start off by talking about. Well, we'll go from the back of the grid forward, I would say. In fact, no, we'll do it the other way around. We'll start at the top and go down the grid, because I assume, because straight off the bat, we'll start with Mercedes. Then, yeah, they look fine. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they've had a single breakdown over the course of testing. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't remember seeing a headline about it. But they look good. Hamilton looks fast as always. Bottas seems to be struggling a little bit, but I'm sure he'll be up there when the race season comes around. They actually... I don't think they topped a testing session, but you can tell for the first... Well, they've been pretty much testing reliability all week, haven't they? Because they haven't, like, apart from the last day, they haven't put really fast times in, and they've just been focusing on laps. Like, every day they've done well over 100 laps, I think. So, yeah, their reliability looks good, the speed looks there. In fact, I think on the, oh, thanks DRS. I think on the last day, that Hamilton was about half a second off of Seb's time, but on a harder compound tyre. I think Seb was on the C4s, and I think Hamilton was on the C3s, so C3 obviously being the soft tyre and C4 obviously being super soft. I can't understand why they've changed that, I really can't, because it doesn't make any sense now. We went the first 2 days of testing and I had no idea which tyre was which. I didn't know if C1 was the fastest or C5 was the fastest. But yeah, they look fine. I think they'll definitely be up there when the race comes around, because they tend to be, like last year in testing, they were off the pace a little bit, and then they went to Australian Grand Prix, and I think Hamilton got pole by about 3 or 4 tenths. which, if any of you watch motor racing, you know that that is a hell of a long time in motor racing. So, yeah, we'll see what they've got. I think they'll definitely be going for the title again. Obviously, I don't think they'll have dropped off that much from last year. So we'll move on to Ferrari. Ferrari again, they look strong. Leclerc looks really good. He topped 3 sessions, I think. Yeah, he looks good. He looks fast. He looks comfortable in the car, and that's always a bonus, because you want a driver to be smooth and fast at the same time. Sebastian, he had a few problems over testing, and I don't think he can deny that. I don't think he can deny that at all. But we've seen what Sebastian can do in the past. I mean, he's 4-time world champ. I'm sure he can buff out a crash and a breakdown like, but it were a heavy hit into the wall on day 2, I believe, of the second week. So yeah, but that wasn't really his fault. I think his tyre exploded or something, didn't it? So yeah, it wasn't his fault. I mean, Seb again, he'll be up there. There's no doubt in that. But I mean, Leclerc will be the person to watch out for, I think. I think Charles has got a trick or two up his sleeve. Because if anybody knows me, if Leclerc starts beating Vettel, I'm never going to be able to live it down. Because yes, I am a Vettel fan, but yeah, I think both him and Hamilton, and even Bottas, well, Bottas definitely, but Lewis and, you know, they might have to watch out for Leclerc. He might be is definitely one to look out for. So who's next? I guess we'll talk about Red Bull next. Red Bull, yeah, again, they look fine. A lot of the teams look fine, to be fair. I mean, the only team I would think would have a problem would be Williams, but we'll get to them in a bit. Red Bull, yeah, they look fine. You know, Gasly, sorry. Yeah, he looks comfortable in the car. He's definitely
car repairs have set us back a little.
He's definitely looking good, to say the least. Max Verstappen, again, we expect him to.
So far, our fastest lap is
we expect him to look good at this point.
15.2.
So, yeah, I would say they're fine. I'm not really going to talk much about Red Bull because even though they've got a new driver in Gasly, he looks fine, and there's not really much to talk about when it comes to them. So Renault, they look in trouble, actually. You know, a lot of people going into this season expected Renault to have closed the gap a lot, because, you know, it's been there. They were in Formula 1 in 2010. They've been out for they came back in 2016. They were out for 5 seasons. They've come back. This is 2016, 17, 18. This is going to be their 4th season back. And in my own personal opinion, I think they need to be up there this season, because they have to show us that they're a full factory team and that they can be up there. Because at the minute they look off the pace, man. I mean, both Ricciardo and Hülkenberg look good in the car. You know, the car looks smooth, but they're still a bit of a way off, I think.
If you want to know specific
and that's not me being anti-Renault. I mean, Renault is actually slowly becoming my favourite team, because I think
the radio button to activate the system, and you can either speak the command or select it manually from the radio screen that will appear on the multifunction display. While the radio is active, cycle through command groups with the MFD
but yeah,
button.
I'm just going to talk over him. Yeah, he looks fine. They both look fine because Hulkenberg now is, for me, he's the most. I'm gonna I'm gonna contradict myself here. In that co-op video I did with my friend Jamie, I said that Sergio Perez is the most underrated driver on the grid, and that is true. I think he is, but I also think Hulkenberg is greatly underrated as how good of a driver he is. I know, and I think he deserves a spot in a top team. And I know a lot of people have argued that he's in one at the minute because he's at a Renault, he's in a factory team, and he should be doing well. But he can only go as fast as the car can take him. And I know that's a controversial saying. You're only as fast as the car can take you, because whether people like to accept it or not, the car is a little bit of help towards how good a driver looks. And it does help, because I mean, you look at, let me think of an example before I just say something that I'll contradict myself with. There isn't really anybody I could say. Oh, we could go for we could go for Verstappen, for example. He was struggling in Toro Rosso. He had a lot of decent results, but so did Carlos at the same. So did Carlos Sainz at the same time. They were both back to top tens, yes. But Danny Kvyat unfairly, in my point of view, gets axed from Red Bull a couple of races into the season. They put Verstappen into the seat, and first race goes out and wins. That just shows, to me, that the car has a little bit of a hand in it. I'm not saying Verstappen isn't a fantastic young driver, he is. But just the basis that he can go from fighting for about 9th or 10th place to just jumping straight into a Red Bull and finishing top. That to me says, that to me says the car has a little bit of a hand in it. So yeah, Red Bull, they both look good. Renault, yeah, they look fine. Ricciardo seems to be... It's hard to say with Ricciardo because he could be sandbagging knowing him, but he looks struggling. He looks like he's struggling. He was fast. He was slower than Hulkenberg in a lot of the days, and I know. Going back to the famous saying, it's just testing, and I get that, but he hasn't pumped in a seriously fast time all the way over testing. So we'll see. I'm sure, but I hope for Renault the gap has come down, because they need, in my mind, to start proving themselves. Because I'm not saying they don't get fantastic results, but they do need to start fighting for them podiums to show everybody that it was worth coming back. So moving on, we've done the top three, we've done Renault. Let's move on to McLaren, simply because I think McLaren is going to be way more in the midfield battle this season. I mean, the McLaren looks good. If we're going off of testing, it looks really good. The signs are promising. The signs are very promising. Sainz looks good. Sainz looks really fast. And change my camera back up. Sainz looks really fast. And I hope he is. I hope he is, because I want McLaren to be up there again. And again, I'm just contradicting myself because I love Renault so much, but it's hard to pick any team to be at the back, because I like every team on the grid, and I mean that. It's like, so to see McLaren struggling so much since 13 arguably, yeah, it should be good. I hope they do get back up there. But Sainz, he looks fine. No problem with him. I wouldn't think. You know, he knows how to go about his business now, and that's a good sign for them. But I mean, I guess the talking point's Lando Norris. He's looked fantastic over testing. Actually, he's looked really good. Oh, excuse me. I think he finished one of the days in second or third or something like that. So I'm just going to skip to the race there. There's only 1 minute left. So I think they'll do good. They'll be fine.
It's time to leave for now, but
we'll go on to we'll do Alpha. Oh no, we'll do Haas next, because I want to talk about Haas because they look like they're in trouble. They had a lot of reliability problems in the first week, really. I was going to say in the first session, but in the first week they were having a lot of problems, a lot of mechanical problems, and
the grandstands are full to capacity.
so I hope they can bounce back from these reliability problems, because
well then, after an exciting
I actually like Haas as a team.
Let's take a look at
I know they're more famous for like NASCAR or like or whatever, but I actually enjoy them being in Formula 1, and I think they've got a good, strong driver lineup, because I like Magnussen, and I do like Grosjean. I know he's a bit accident prone sometimes, but yeah, I like him. I think they're good, but they did look like they were struggling reliability wise. You know, I mean, both of them broke down on the same day on one of the tests, so we'll see. I mean, again, they could just iron them problems out, but I hope for their sake they can. But yeah, they look like they're in trouble right now. And then we'll talk about Alpha next. They look fine. Kimi looks great in that Alpha. It looks great. 2 seconds, guys. Concentrating on the start. And we get a shit one anyway. Yeah, I think Raikkonen looks good. Obviously, you expect him to at this stage, but and then Giovinazzi, I've got to be honest, guys, I completely forgot about Giovinazzi. You know, just quietly going about his business, good about his business as he's doing testing. I think he was focusing more on like long runs and stuff than anything else. But we'll see how he does. He looks like he was struggling. And then finally Williams. Yeah, I think they're in trouble. Big trouble. Mainly because, you know, they missed the first 2 days of testing, and that's like the worst thing that could possibly happen to a team. You know, you want every single minute that you can get, and you know, they missed 2 whole days, so it's
you'll be on the softs.
So it's it'd be interesting to see what happens with them, but you know, Kubica has experienced enough at this point, but then again, he hasn't been in the sport for what, 10, no, not 10 years, for about 7 years, is it? I can't remember when Kubica's last season was, but yeah, I expect him to be okay. And then George Russell, I don't know, guys. I mean, I don't want to be too harsh, but I think George Russell probably wasn't the best choice, because right now in Williams they've got a person who's never competed in Formula 1 right now, and a person who hasn't competed in Formula 1 for 7 years or whatever, however long it's been. And to me, you need an experienced person. Like, every single person on every team on this grid has got an experienced driver now. So you know, Renault has got both Hulkenberg and Ricciardo. They've both been in the sport for a while. You know, Ferrari's got Seb. Mercedes has got Hamilton, obviously, and all that. So every team pretty much has a driver that you can sit at and go, yes, they know what they're doing. They can drag this team up. But at the minute, Williams don't have that, and it could be really bad for them at the end of the day. It could be detrimental in the long run, because if they have a problem, you know, they might not know how to fix it because they haven't been in the sport before or for so long. And also, guys, they didn't look fast at all. I know on I can't remember which day it was. It might have been test 2 day 1 or something, but they wrapped up like 200 laps, which even for testing is insane. So they look good reliability wise, but they just don't look on the pace. I mean, you can't judge, like I said a lot throughout this, you can't judge just on testing, because testing doesn't mean much. But to me, you know, you show a little bit of a sign where you might be in testing, and Williams just didn't show that. And again, it sucks, because I like Williams as a team, but it's just, because it's got to the point where you just can't imagine the sport without Williams at this point. But if they don't book their ideas up, they're going to lose all of their sponsors and they're going to be out. And it sucks for me to say that, but it might happen, you know, because they're just not getting good results at all. You know, yeah, they got a podium in 2017 at Baku, but let's be honest, all the top drivers are out, and they got a podium with a Mercedes engine at a top speed where it's pretty much all about straight line speed. So it'd be like, I don't know, it'd be like in MotoGP if they went to Monza. You'd be like, God, I didn't expect Ducati to win that. You know, it's so I think, look, they might be okay. They look solid reliability wise, so if anything they might get a few points with everyone crashing and breaking down. But I do think they will be at the back again. So yeah, we covered everyone. Haas, Alpha, yeah. Wow, that didn't last as long as I was expecting it to. I guess we could just talk about the rookies a bit more. So, Giovinazzi, yeah, well, all the rookies really, they just went about the business really. George Russell and Giovinazzi and Norris, they all didn't look particularly fast, but they looked good in the car, they looked smooth. They were all in reliable cars, but it looks of it. So it should all come good for them. So yeah.
Okay, clear.
I've ran out of things to say 5 laps into the race. I thought we'd be talking for 17 laps. Yeah, I think so. Who do I think will be up front? Probably, I think the grid order this year, probably looking if we go off of testing, and then, like I say, I know we can't, but if we go off of testing, I reckon it'll be Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull top 3 again. Then after that, I honestly wouldn't know whether to say McLaren or Renault.
The car in front is 3.2 0 seconds.
Because there's a part of me that wants it to be Renault, and a part of me that wants it to be McLaren. I mean, I'd love it to be Renault because I want Hulkenberg to get his first podium. But I don't know. I wouldn't know which way to put them teams around. I'm going to say, simply because I think that they might be sandbagging slightly, I'm going to say Renault will get the best of the rest thing, if we're still using that quote. And I think McLaren will come after that. And then after that, guys, I'm going to be a bit brave and say, oh, we haven't me following Gasly is maybe completely forgot. I have forgot to talk about Toro Rosso. We'll do that quickly. Who are at Toro Rosso this year? Kvyat and Alex Albon. Albon looks good. He had a bit of a spin like on the first or second day of the first week, but you expect him to, so I'm not really going to have a go at him for that. Yeah, I think and then Kvyat, yeah, he looks okay. I mean, he topped one of the days, so I can't really say he didn't do well. You know, he topped week 2, day 2, or something like that. I can't remember which day he topped. He topped one of them though. And then Alex Albon, again, had a bit of a spin, but it looked okay. He looked fast as well. I think he topped one of the days as well. I'm not sure. I can't remember if he did or not. Yeah, I can't remember whether he did, but so yeah, I think. And then I don't know why I brought that. Well, like I said, I was following Gasly, and that just reminded me. But I think. So yeah, I'd put Renault above McLaren, simply because I think Renault might have been holding back a little bit. I'm going to say, and then after that, I'm going to be brave, and I'm going to put Sauber, guys. I'm going to say Sauber is going to be the 6th fastest team on the grid this year, simply because of the fact they have an 18-year veteran. How many years is Raikkonen in Formula 1 now? Started in 2000, didn't he? Went all the way up, no, 2001. So 2011. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, simply because they have Raikkonen and all the knowledge he brings, I'm going to say that Alpha will be up there this season. It's going to get used to. Got to get used to calling them Alpha and Romeo and not Sauber. I know it is Sauber, guys, but if you start calling them Sauber, even though their name is Alfa Romeo F1, it'd be like me saying, oh, well, I don't really like the fact that Hamilton's won again, but hey, at least Tyrrell are winning, guys. You know. So I'm not gonna do that. And then I'm gonna say Toro Rosso will be after that. And then Haas, and then Williams, I think. Oh, I haven't talked about Racing Point either. Oh my god, guys, I'm so sorry. I've missed off half of the grid. I haven't spoken about Force India. Sorry, not Racing Point. That's the only conception I'll make. Is when people say, "Oh, it's Racing Point now, not Force India." I'm just going to keep calling it Force India because it is a 10 times better name than Racing Point. Perez, well, they just quietly went about the business, really. I mean, they didn't really post fast times. I think they were just focusing on race sims and stuff, because I didn't see them being particularly fast, I must say. Stroll didn't really impress me, it must be said. My only worry now is because Lawrence Stroll is head of the team, and we've got Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll there. And I'm sorry if you are a Lance Stroll fan, if you like him as a driver, but I'm sorry, I don't. And I think that all of the upgrades this season will go to Lance first, even though Sergio is way the better driver. And that's what worries me. Because, I mean, for me, Perez shouldn't even be there. He should be in the top team. We shouldn't even have been talking about it. But the only problem is, they all have a problem, as in all of the big teams have a sister team. If you know what I mean. Like, if Bottas gets kicked out of Mercedes at the end of the season, because it looked like Ocon was set to go there, if Bottas didn't get signed at the end of the last season, I hope, there's just a part of me that thinks that they're just going to bring Ocon back and stick him in, even though Perez deserves to go in it. And I know Perez, because Mercedes is literally the only way that a driver can get to a top team now, because you know, the simple fact is, if you don't, in your Formula 1 career, if you don't drive for Red Bull, if you don't drive for Toro Rosso, sorry, you're not getting into a Red Bull car. And if you don't drive for, well, Alfa Romeo, if you're not a Ferrari Academy person, then you're not getting into a Ferrari car. So to me, Mercedes is the only way that a driver can get into a top team. And I think that's unfair, because people like Perez and Hülkenberg and everyone else don't get the chance to be in a top team, and that sucks, because I have no doubt in my mind that if you stick Perez in one of them top 3 cars, he will win races. You know, for me, there's no doubt about that. He's already got, what, nine podiums for Force India, along with the 2 podiums that he got with with BMW Sauber before he came to Force India. So if you think about that, guys, he's got 11 podiums in teams that shouldn't even be getting anywhere near the podium. And to me, that just shows how good of a driver he is, in my mind. Hülkenberg is frustrating, because I like Hülkenberg as a driver, but he just cannot catch a break when it comes to that first podium. I hope one day he does get it, but at the minute I don't think doesn't look like he's going to get it this season either. I mean, arguably could have had one in the past. I think it was 2014 Bahrain. I think he finished 4th, and Perez got 3rd. And
is 3.5 seconds.
It was frustrating, because I think Hülkenberg was 3rd for most of that race, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's definitely tough for him not to have that podium yet, but I'm sure it'll come one day. But yeah, so yeah, all in all, guys, that's my thought on all of the grid. I think, who do I think will be the world champ? It's hard to say, guys, because my head, well, every little bit of my heart wants Vettel to win another title. But I think Lewis might do it again, which will suck, but there you go. A lot of people say that to me, actually, when they say, oh, why do you hate Hamilton so much? And it's like, is it because he dominates? Because if it's because he dominates, that's a bit rich, isn't it? Coming from a Vettel fan who dominated the sport from 2010 to 2013. And I'm like, but that was different. If you just like to compare seasons for a second. Hamilton, 2014 and 15 he ran away with the titles. Even with his fights with Nico Rosberg, he won the title by a long way. 2016 he lost it to Nico, obviously. 2017 he won it by a long way again. And then obviously 2018 he won it by a long way after Vettel started to make mistakes and crash a lot. But so he won all of his titles by a hell of a long way. Sebastian had to fight for every one of his titles, apart from his I can't remember which year it was. It was either 2012 or it was either 2011 or 2012 when it went down to the last race of the season, and there was like 4 drivers gunning for the title, because there were 4 drivers within 25 points of each other. I think it were Alonso, Sebastian. Who was fighting for the title that season? Oh, Sebastian, Webber, Alonso, and it might have even been Hamilton, I'm not sure. But and also, to me, it just comes down to his charisma. Like, I think, as far as a character of the character that the people are, Sebastian's a lot less laid back, a lot more laid back than most drivers on the grid, I dare say. Yeah, I mean, he's fucking, every time we get a press conference, he's sat there telling jokes. Like that one last season where they were like, oh, you've just got one more, I can't remember who were asking it, I think it was Natalie Pinkham who asked him, that's the last race done, is there anything, what are you going to be doing tonight, or over the rest of the summer break? And he just came out with the absolute golden line of, what are you doing tonight? You know, like there's no one else on the grid that would have told that joke. And it's like the seagull incident at Canada 2017, I think it was, where there was the seagulls on the track at turn 1. That was the greatest thing I've ever seen. It was fantastic. He does not slow down for animals. And then I think I think my heart says, every little bit of my heart says Vettel will do it, but unfortunately I think Hamilton will do it again. And then, what team do I think will be under the most pressure? I think definitely Williams. I think, you know, with them missing the 2 days and their long run pace. You know, the long run pace wasn't too bad, but they look really slow, guys, compared to everyone else. You know, they showed no signs of being faster than anybody else. And, you know, the car was, I mean, I don't think this is the official reason as to why they were 2 days late, but apparently the reason why they were 2 days late was because they were rebuilding the entire car, like from top to bottom. And they were rebuilding the entire car from top to bottom. Like there's not an old part in that car, it's all new. And that's why they were 2 days late. Well, if that's the case, and they've gone to testing and they're still this slow, it could be a problem for them. It could be a massive problem for them, actually. So we'll see. I think Williams will be the slowest car again, but I've noticed, guys, I've been sat around 2 seconds behind on this race waiting for last 2 laps to go up into hot lap mode to try and get the win, and I've just realised I have no ERS at all.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
But yeah, I think so. That's my rundown on the season. I think all the teams, there's not really any, apart from Williams, there's not really any team to look out for or to feel worried for, because they all look good. But yeah, guys, we're gonna come round here. We're gonna finish in 3rd place, which is an alright result, I guess, for Renault.
We'll see you in Park Fermé.
Hulkenberg's first podium. You can get it digitally every time. But yeah, I think the major upset. Well, the major upset of the season, I think, will have to go to Leclerc. I think he'll definitely win a few races this season without question. I think the best rookie
out onto the podium. Wherever you go,
will
anywhere in
be,
the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force.
I'm going to say Lando Norris. I think Norris has shown more promise than the other ones. How many rookies are there? 3.
Moving on to the driver of the day, then.
He's definitely shown more
I'm going to say Brendan
promise
Hartley.
than the other 2.
It was probably one of his best drives this season, and I was thoroughly impressed.
So
that's it for today's Grand Prix.
But yeah, guys, that's going to be the end of this live stream again. Yeah, I want to apologise, by the way. Last weekend on my Dirt Rally 2 launch stream, that I was going to do a stream every day last week. Across the weekend last week, and I only did the Friday, and I didn't do anything on the other 2 days. I apologise for that profusely, if that's even a word. But yeah, guys, it's been fun again. So to make up for not doing one on Saturday or Sunday last week, I'm gonna do 2, either today or tomorrow, for you guys to make up for that. So yeah, this has been fun, guys. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, see you guys again. Bye.